Hello and welcome to the 2025 Precision Fuel and Hydration IRONMAN 70.3 World Championship men's race here in beautiful Marbella, Spain, the south of Spain. Yes, today is only for the fellas, and from all over the world, athletes have descended upon the beautiful shores of the Costa del Sol to vie for a world title. As they did yesterday in the women's race, it is a full-on battle against a great course and incredible competition. We've got a lot of athletes on the line, putting it all out there, and today promises fireworks. And as we look at these men, Craig, it looks like all of our favorites really are on the left, with a couple that are on the right, just sort of random. We've got Schoenberg, middle and center. Riddle will be incredible. Watch out for Jamie Riddle from South Africa on this swim.
Yeah, he's a noted swimmer, especially with a beach start like this. Grew up swimming in the surf in South Africa. And also, let's look out for Alessio Crociani. I mean, it was only a couple of weeks ago at the World Triathlon Finals that he put on a clinic in the swim and actually did a bit of backstroke because the rest of the boys couldn't keep up with him. So I mean, the depth of swim talent in this field is exceptional. But some of those names you mentioned, Vincent Louis is another one we should look out for. Jonas Schoenberg's a guy who's been up the front in pushing the pace in a lot of the swims as well this year.
That's right. And now 2 minutes away, and so many. We'll talk about this in a minute. Before we came live, you were talking about how the dynamic is just so crucial with this size of race and this many contenders. How they get out on the bike matters, when they get out on the bike matters, and where they get out on the bike matters. Just a little teaser we're going to hit in these opening miles of the Zoot Bike Course. But for now, one lap of the Roca Swim Course, and I tell you what, it is going to be on from the outset. We know that much to be true, folks. If you are not having an elevated heart rate at the edge of your seat, you do not consider yourself a triathlon fan. It is about to get super fast, super quick, and I cannot wait. Once again, it is one lap of this course, and they get right to it from the outset. This shot is great, Craig, as we get them all spaced apart on that red carpet. They run right into the beach and into that shallow water. A couple of, as you said, porpoise dives, and they're off and to the races. And I feel it coming here now. And with that, we are underway. The 2025 Precision Fuel and Hydration IRONMAN 70.3 World Championship is underway. The men, a whitewashed fury coming at you with arms and legs flailing. Oh, that is the sight we love in this sport, Craig.
What a sight that was. That was just incredible off the beach. As an athlete, that's the worst time, that last 10 minutes after the swim warm-up with the introductions. But now the athletes get to do what they do best, as we see almost a long line right across the water here. We see someone in the middle of the field, probably Crociani, just starting to ease towards the front. But you mentioned the swim dynamic here. I think it's going to be crucial. There's so much swim depth. And, you know, towards the end of this swim and coming through T1 onto that golden mile on the bike, positioning is going to be crucial here.
Crucial, and we'll talk about why, because it fascinates me, sort of the number of things that can happen. You'll see a little bit of a ripple coming in from the east, as we saw yesterday, or the right side of your screen. But realistically, we're going to do our best to pick out some names. Who are you seeing right away?
I'm seeing Jamie Riddle in the violet cap, and this is what we're used to seeing. We're very accustomed to seeing Jamie, especially a beach starter. We saw him do it in Ironman Cairns earlier this year. We saw him doing it at the World Championships in Nice. He is just lightning quick off the start. Beach start, that's right in his wheelhouse, and he seems to be pushing the pace, and that's a smart move by him again, I think.
I agree. And then caps to look for of some people we expect to be in our front pack. In a pearly silver, we've got Vincent Louis from France, like you mentioned, a superstar, really out quick. And then also we've got Rico Bogan in a powder blue. Look for him. As we watch the Italian, looks like pull away a slight bit. We're going to throw down to Rini and Luke down there on the water's edge. Take it away, my friends.
Hey guys, we are riding alongside Christian Blumenfeld. He is around 30th place, so he is in the main chase group. Gustav Eden has fallen off the back. Another notable is Rico Bogan is behind Christian Blumenfeld.
And looking to get a bit detached right now.
Yeah, he's dropping off this main group here. Crociani's actually gone off the front. He is away and solo off the front now. And then there's a pack of about 15 men together. And then this is the Christian Blumenfeld group that we're rolling along here with now. And Christian Blumenfeld, other notables, Matis Magiere is in there. We have Magnus Ditlev in there.
Yelageen's just in front of him. And it looks like it's really strung out now with Crociani going off the front. That next group coming back from that really looks very condensed there in that top 14, 15 odd athletes. Still got Jamie Riddle, Vincent Louis, Jonas Schomburg. He's lost his orange cap for those watching at home. Also, Christian Blumenfeld has lost his cap, so he's a bit harder to find. But yeah, coming around the corner here right now with Magnus Ditlev and Yelageen's. Looks like they're leading up the Christian Blumenfeld group, Marinda.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to form, and that was that long 530 meters straight away, and it was into the chop at that point too.
Thank you so much, Marinda and Luke. Wow, great stuff. And in fact, seeing the Italian with a 10-meter gap, and it could grow because once you lose that contact, once you don't have the draft, it doesn't get any easier now, does it, Craig?
Not at all. And, you know, we really need to pay attention towards the end of this swim and coming through T1. I really feel the short course specialists will press the advantage there and take more seconds. And that's going to be crucial because every second that someone's standing still in T1 in our Ruby transition, their competitors are out on the bike along that golden mile, that first really fast, lightning fast stretch of this bike course. So the gaps will open. And I tell you what, you wouldn't want to be caught 15 or 20 deep at the back of a group hitting that first climb.
And let's talk about that for a second. While we're watching these men, still two distinct packs we're staring at, tell us really specifically why. What happens if you're at the back of a 20-person group?
Well, the guy on the front is going to be pushing 55 kilometres an hour. And, then when we think of the draft spacing, what the rules are here, you've got to be 15 metres back plus 15. I mean, the rule says a little less than that, but most of these gentlemen will play it safe and stay on the larger side of the draft zone. So if there's 20 in the group, you're 350 metres behind the front of the group. And it's basic physics. I mean, if the front of the group's going at 50 or 55 k an hour along this, really lightning quick early few miles of the bike course, it just makes it impossible to get anywhere near the front of the group. And so the front of the group will hit that climb and it'll concertina up at the back. But again, with the rules being the way they are, you can't just overtake one or two athletes and slot in. If everyone is legally spaced, you have to overtake the whole group. So really, you've got to play it smart. You've got to be super vigilant and careful that you don't encroach the draft zone. And you may just have to be patient and let the front of that group get away from you until potentially the flat section between the first two climbs or the plateau section in the middle of the bike course.
Great answer. Great insight here. Thank you so much for that. As we get a really nice perspective here as we come right into shore, we've got our leader from Italy, Alessandro Crociani. He's going for it, and he's really getting to the end of this Roca swim course with some flair. Just a reminder, though, if you are kind of visualizing this course, he's still got to make a hard left and angle his way straight in. But as he rolls in, he is still having an incredible swim, notably faster than yesterday, I think conditions are. But look at this melee behind.
Yeah, this chase back has some quality in it as well, but yeah, incredible swim by Crociani. And you can see this part of the course here, Michael, it's sheltered by the land, so protected from the swell and the wind. The final metres of this swim, the last 200 from that final turning buoy in, have been very calm. As we expected, there was going to be some separation in this swim. We heard Rennie and Luke cover off all the main contenders, basically two main chase packs. And let's watch Crociani here as he's porpoising the last few metres. He stands up and he's the first man on land, and I'm sure he's not going to muck around. He's going to fly through Ruby transition here. He's going to maximise every second that he's got. He's probably got 15 to 20 seconds. He's added an extra 5 seconds on, I think, in the last couple of 100 metres. And it's a great swim by him. I think he can get out on the bike course, get in his own rhythm. And a lot of the main contenders that we've been talking about with the bike power, we heard Rennie and Luke mention that Rico Bogan's a fair way back, and Yelageen's is in chase pack 2 as chase pack 1 hits the land now
That's right. And I tell you what, Wahoo Element Rival tells us it was 22:21. So 22 minutes, 21 seconds for the first male out of the water, Alessio Crociano. Sorry, I called him Alessandro. Nice work, Alessio. As we look at these men rolling out of the water, seeing them here in transition and looking at these splits, what an incredible display. Some of the names right second out of the water, 28 seconds back. So absolutely just blowing it out. Looking to some of our contenders down the road. Who's the first one you see that ought to be a little further up?
Well, Schomburg's in the front group, 33 back. He's one of the stronger riders. He's in great position, as is Jamie Riddle and Panagiatos Batatos in that group as well. Kevin McDowell in that group, 36. Casper Stornes, one of the big race favourites in Chase Pack 1 as well. So,
and what a giant group. So if you go all the way to 39 seconds back, 15 men closed out with Taylor Reed. And as we jump, Fabian Kraft, 43 seconds back, and looking again, refreshing folks. On screen, you're seeing absolute pandemonium, but it's controlled pandemonium. These men know what they're doing. Craig, you said it really well. Our short course athletes are experts in making very quick work of a Ruby transition area, and today is no different. Watching as we see a sprint, an absolute sprint to get to the mount line, which is under that arch, and it is absolutely what we described, where they're going to hit this. It is going to be so fast in that opening Mia de Oro, the golden mile. It is going to be so fast starting now.
It was chaos through there. We can see Miguel Hidalgo go up, so he's had a great swim as well. Obviously a short course specialist. He finished second in the WTCS standings this year. Interestingly, Casper Stornes was right up in the mix. So one of our early race favourites out on the course. As we see Chase Pack 2 has come into transition now.
Yeah, Stornes only 20 seconds down at the start of the bike. So he did a nice 15-second jump in his transition to catch right up. You see, yes?
We can see Rico Bogan, our 2023 world champion, probably a bit further back than we expected. He's a man with immense bike power, so I'm sure he'll be looking to make some inroads along this flat, fast section, the early miles before they hit that first climb.
That's right. It does start out very fast on this Zoot bike course before we hit the big climbs, and predominantly hitting all those climbs and the elevation gain in the opening half or beyond of this race. This is unfortunate. Looks like we had a little upset there.
It's our defending champion.
That's our defending champ, and often for Yellow-Geens getting on, look at that, just the height of getting over, the leg over, and it sounds a little bit basic, but Crowe, it is tough. I mean, that's a tall bottle behind, and you got to leap on, and you're a little bit tapped from the swim.
We can see Matt Hansen at his transition rack there, so he's a little bit further back than probably he would like, but we expect to see this from Matt. He's hitting his two best disciplines now, so yeah, that was a little unfortunate for Yellow-Geens, our defending champion. And you're right, Michael, the aerodynamic setups now with the drink bottles behind the seat and up on the cockpit, it does make mounting these bikes. The flying mount is not as easy as it used to be.
That's right. You got to really hit some air to get the legs over. And then on the dismount as well, let's take a look at those flashing lights, because what I'm seeing there is the Race Ranger, our drafting technology in full effect, and it will tell these athletes what they need to do to get away from one another if they are in that danger or illegal draft zone.
That is a lot of men in a short space. Yeah, well, they're just going to have to pay attention. Everyone who knows the rules and the Race Ranger lights, it's very clear that the technical officials on course, so nobody wants to get a draft penalty this early in the race. Yeah, especially going through these roundabouts, it can condense up and then spread out again. I'm interested to see Jonas Schomburg. He's a guy who has shown in every race he's done this year that he wants to light it up early on the bike. That's been the tactic he's employed really successfully at a lot of races. I think it's a great tactic for him. He's an absolute monster on the bike. We saw that he was 7th onto the bike course and currently still sitting in 7th, so we'll keep an eye on him. It's still Crociani leading, and also our other short course superstar, Vincent Louis, in 2nd place right now. So as predicted, a lot of the real high quality swimmers, they're right at the front of this race. They position themselves beautifully. Someone like Vincent, a lot of experience. He didn't have to lead the swim, but he wasn't far from the lead. Great transition, and now out onto the bike course clean. And this is where you want to be, towards the front of the race.
I think so too. And when we just talk a little bit more about our American athlete there, Ben Canute, I did catch up with his coach a couple weeks ago, and he said finally, he just moved from Arizona to Colorado. He's at altitude. He's finally feeling like he's back where he used to be, where he was that top 3 contender, top 3 finisher, specifically second place at World Champs. So it's cool to see, and he's going for it. I want to bring in for another time today, a very special guest, an Ironman athlete, a competitor, someone that also really got pretty aggressive in the Pro-Am a couple days ago. Yes, again, it is our Ironman Group CEO, Scott DeRue. Scott, thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me. It's an incredible pleasure and an honor to be with you guys, and what an exciting race we've got unfolding here.
100%. And what's neat, too, is that we didn't expect anything different, but we just didn't know what to see, who we would see up here. So now you're looking at Christian Blumenfeld. What are some of, as we just go right with it, what are some of your early impressions of this race, this group of guys on the road?
Well, at swim start earlier, you could feel the energy, a little bit of tension in the air, but everybody excited to get started. And so that swim was just chaos. And then, Crowe, as you mentioned, they came out in T1, and I don't know that I've ever seen 45 guys come in all together, but it's shaping up to be a really exciting race. And, Schomburg and Riddle, now KB are pushing off the front, and that's really exciting to see. I think this is going to shape up to be one incredible bike ride.
I would agree, and it's interesting. Watch this. He's talking to the cameraman. I believe he's telling him to get out of the way. If it's not get the cameraman out of the way, he's saying, hey, these athletes need to slide over. But it feels to me like he's being very fair and saying you need to move over. Like, I can't have a draft. I mean, that's what I'm sensing. It could be that he's telling them to tell the athletes up the road to move over. Craig, what'd you pick up on that?
Yeah, it's very unusual to see this much dialogue out on the course, and especially from KB. He's a man of few words in general, let alone on a race course. So, I'm not sure what was going on. We'll keep an eye on that. But it was definitely some dialogue with either the cameraman or the bike, or the technical official as we come back to the front of the race. And what a sight that is down this first climb. There hasn't been any separation. This group still seems to be together, but Schomburg looks like he's pushing hard on the front, and we know Jamie in second place. His strategy for today was to push early and hard on the bike as we come back into the field and see KB. I'm not sure what that was. As we see one of the media personnel come up next to KB here, I think that was some dialogue with the technical official there, probably telling Christian to move over to the barriers. That's what it looked like, but Christian was adamant he wanted to come out and make a pass. So we'll keep an eye on things.
What you're seeing on the road is a lot of back and forth. We've now got Magnus Ditlev at the front. He's kind of bounced back and forth. Now Jelle Geens, our defending champ, in second place. Fantastic, just 2 seconds back. Rico Bogan won 2 years ago. He's now in third. Jonas Schomburg, who we heard a lot from, the young German, 31 years old, is in fourth, with the Frenchman Mathis Magirier in fifth. I said that fifth, and also Christian Blumenfeld, the guy on camera. That's wrapping up your top six right there. And Craig, it's a little bit of a gap here that we're seeing that group of five pull away from KB. Not too worried. I think it speaks to, again, the nature of the up-down, kind of go when you have the legs and stay confident with that gap. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a dangerous position to be on the back of the group. When you get on these rollers, you're cresting a hill and the front of the group's doing 55, 60 kilometres an hour on the downside, on the other side of the crest. So, yeah, KB's just got to pay attention, but he's got enough experience. As again, we get a great close-up of Mathis Magirier, and he just looks quite composed and comfortable doing what he loves to do, which is just use his bike strength to, set up a good race for himself. And I really see this front group as being sort of split in two. We've got the power bikers, we've got Mathis, we've got Magnus Ditlev, Rico Bogan, Jonas Schomburg normally, although he looks like he might be racing a smarter race. And then we've also got Jamie Riddle, we've got Jelle Geens, we've got KB in there, Kasper Stornes, Panayotis Batatos, who's a noted runner, has run multiple sub-110 half marathons this year in 70.3 events. So, it's an interesting dynamic. I really feel those bikers, if they want to get on the podium, they have to create some separation from the more noted runners in this group.
That's right, and Batatos did that 107.59, so under 110 by a couple minutes. The number's still very staggering when you say them out loud, but Blumenfeld here out of the saddle, looking over his shoulder, taking a chance to do a few things, get that power from being up, get a little stretch to the back, and also take a peek behind to see where they're at, all at less of an aero cost. When you're going up a hill like this, you lose less of those aerodynamic advantages. But I think he looks great. I think that he's positioned well. His run, again, one of the best in the sport, if not the best consistently. But God, I think we know this. It's going to be fire when they leave Ruvi T2.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess on paper, and I know we don't race on paper, but on paper, I feel we've got the two best runners at this distance, certainly over the last 2 years, in Jelle Geens and Christian Blumenfeld. And you can probably throw Casper Stornes into that mix as well, because there was that epic duel that that KB and Casper had in Aix-en-Provence earlier this year in the Pro Series event there. So where they ran 107 low and really they were shoulder to shoulder until the last kilometre of the run. So I think Jelle Geens is on that level though. So, and looking at KB, we've seen him on screen a few times as we're looking back to the front of this group, and we see Magnus making the pass on Matisse. So Magnus is going to lay down some watts now and maybe try and string this group out a little bit. But, we haven't seen much of Jelle Geens, but when we have seen him, apart from when he's been sitting on the side of the road, he's looked comfortable.
He has. I agree.
He's looked good. He's doing what he needs to do. He's using all his class and his experience to position well. We saw Christian, bridge up the first climb, and he was remonstrating with somebody, maybe about the lead motorbikes. Who knows what that was about? I'm sure we'll find out after the race. But we've seen him sort of dangle off the back a couple of times too. And I guess the only question mark over his race for me in Nice was, did he expend too much energy trying to get up to the Martin Van Riel, Schomburg, Riddle group? And whereas Casper Stornes was just sort of maybe a little bit more patient in that race. So this is a shorter race, so time will tell. But it looks like this group has certainly, they've created a big gap on the main chase group, and we have some of the best runners in the sport in this group. So this, for me, is where the race is right now.
Well, some great insight there as we come to Magnus Ditlev. The interesting thing I pulled out of the chat with Sam Laidlow is that the way Magnus gets away is not ever going to be on a climb. He's going to do it just opposite. If he wants to get away from the riders behind, he needs to really excel on the easier parts of the course, the downhill, really maximize his aerodynamic advantage, really maximize that high power. Notice, though, Rico Bogan at the 64-kilometer mark has that slight margin over Magnus Ditlev. And so Rico Bogan, we know he races aggressively. The German who won as our youngest ever Ironman 70.3 champion 2 years ago in 2023 in Finland. I mean, he went for it. He just got himself up there and then battled hard on the bike. Look at him here. Yeah, we see him taking a quick peek back. He's pushed off the front here. It's only seconds, though. It's only seconds, and it's very late in the bike course, and we see him continually looking back over the shoulder. He definitely doesn't want to roll in to Ruvi T2 with the group. But this is a very late play, as we see Christian making the pass on Schomburg here, and they're going up a slight uphill section. So you get that, in these groups, it just compresses. You get that concertina effect. He's coming past Jelle Geens, and I'm not sure why KB is very vocal today, more so than we normally see him. He's coming across Matisse now, and it feels like Matisse and the rest of the group are quite content to let Rico just drift slowly off the front at this late stage, but KB doesn't look like he wants any part of that. Very, very interesting, and it could be one of those cases where he found himself getting into maybe the accidental pass, right? You get close to the person in front of you and you have to go through the whole bunch. He was obviously capable of it, and maybe he's just sharing some words of insight. It is fascinating, though, because we don't typically see that dialogue, or in his case, a monologue, just shouting out. It'd be fun to maybe ask him about that later.
Yeah, and Christian Blumenfeld here, right in the bars, taking this corner. So, very impressive riding from all of the men here. It's going to be fast, that best section again. We're picking up the speed, and that's the passion for cycling, right? When you have speed, I mean, it's good to see. Christian, if he has really a 62 on here, that's going to help him definitely. I believe there's even some sections he might not be able to pedal with a 62 because they're going to go so fast. But looks great. Rico just looking back, see if the competitors are still with them. I think there was a little bit of a gap, but I'm sure Christian will try to bridge that up again.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Christian and Casper have had to bridge up a couple of times, 15, 20-second gaps. I don't feel Jelle has had to do that. So I don't know if I'm reading too much into that, but Danny, a 15, 20-second gap at 45, 50 kilometres an hour, that's a chase that goes for 3-4 kilometres. You're burning some matches there. Yeah,
definitely good point. I think every little sprint you have to do is going to take some little corns from your legs, and you want to save this little energy and that buffer for the run as well. So we'll only see when they start to run who had the biggest effort from this bike course ride, and that's where we're going to see who has the energy left to really attack that run.
Well, and it's always interesting because in a race like this where you're kind of flat out, right, it's the effort relative to your capacity. And so everybody has a different capacity, not just overall, but on the day. So you may if you show up at 98% of your best, that's the day you have, and then you're at a percentage of that. And it's just so fascinating because it all factors into when you show up on the run and you hit that Hoka run course, what you've got left, and then when you deliver it. Because so here's a question. When you hit the run, how important is it, Craig, to start the race at your effort, like Lucy did yesterday, versus just go with the flow and run with your people?
Well, I think that's the magic question. Do you go with the race dynamic, or ultimately you can only control your own pacing and your own effort? And I think, it's a great point. Like you say, you come in with 98%. That's the magic of winning a world title, is getting it right on the day that matters.
Yep.
There's no point having 100% capacity in your last race simulation or your most important track session. You need to have it today, and that's why we run the races. We dissect, we look at past results, we look at most recent form, we predict, and that's part of the fun as fans of the sport. We like to get under the hood and see, who's doing what. But there's questions that are only going to be answered once they hit T2 and out onto that run course. I just feel, as we see Rico making a
tricky
pass,
situation here, going 80, and then they're having some passes here. I think it's Rico passing
Jamie Riddle.
Thank you. It's very impressive riding of these front group. I think also from this perspective here, we can see there's a tiny little gap to Christian again, but let's talk maybe also about his VO2 max. If he has to do a few sprints, he'll be fine. I think he's one of the athletes who can definitely deal with these attacks and being able to go maybe in a lactate zone for a few times and still recover from it.
It's such a great point, and Michael alluded to that with everybody's individual capacity. He is one of the guys, because of his past history, but Jelle Geens as well, 3-time Olympian, they train that VO2, that ability to spike heart rate, spike power, recover at threshold and do it again. So it is intriguing. I feel in Nice, watching Christian with Sam Laidlow on the bike, they maybe burn a match or two, and maybe, again, I'm reading too much into it, but in the end, ultimately, Casper ran the 2:29, and he was more patient on the bike. But I think we're going to learn a lot the first few kilometres of this run, because you don't want to give up too much time to any of the other contenders. You want to ease out.
Yeah, and also, it looks like it's quite tight here.
Yes.
Also, he might just not want to risk a penalty in that last section. I don't know if that's even possible, but I guess as long as they're on the bike, you can risk a penalty, and that's definitely the least you want going into a run against these fast runners.
One thing I will say is when, we heard Casper Stornes say he thinks it's going to take a 106 to 107 to win. So they're running at 3:10 per kilometre pace. So yesterday we saw Lucy just let Taylor get out to 20 seconds, and maybe that was a learning from Kona. She shut that gap in Kona way too quickly. Potentially, I don't know. Yeah, but I know her and her coach, or her husband, Coach Reese, and her coach Dan, are very smart and analytical, so maybe that was a conscious choice. I think when the running paces are a 3:10 on average and closer to 3:05 in the beginning, you don't really want to give up 20 seconds because it's going to take 6 or 7 kilometres to get back.
Yeah. That's right. And here we are coming into the Ruvi transition to the men are off the bike, and look how fast they're already running. Bike in hand, helmet must stay on the head, and you get to your rack before you can remove it. Again, the rules of the road. Take a look at this Wahoo Element Bolt. First off the bike, Jamie Riddle representing South Africa, a time of 2:09.42. We're going to roll to Marinda Carfrae in transition. Rinny, take it away.
have 1, 2, and 3 right here in transition. We have KB, Rico Bogan, Yelagines all side by side. It's tight down here for these boys. They're getting their shoes on. We have Casper Stornes as well. Bogan is out first. We have KB right behind him on his heels. Yella taking a minute to get his shoes on. Jamie Riddle was first into transition, and he is out on KB's heels as well. Yella taking a minute. His bike has fallen. He's putting it back up. So the bike troubles continue for Yelagines right now. Jamie Riddle is out there. We have Jonas Stromberg out there. Matisse Magierier out there as well. Yella just went out in front of Matisse, and that was Casper Stornes out as well. So fast and furious here in transition. We have Simone Westermann as well from the Swiss athlete just going out, and Magnus Ditlev last out of that group out onto T2. You see him with that bag. Fast and furious as always here in transition. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
How about this? Jamie Riddle, the South African, quickly, quick stepping it right up to the shoulder of Christian Blumenfeld. And once again, we are seeing KB having a dialogue there, or a monologue, talking to his competitors. He was kind of visibly peeking over his shoulder and voicing to Riddle. And then look at this. We've got
Jonas Schomburg coming up to make it a trio. And yeah, KB, he just continues to get to the front of these big races. And interestingly, we were talking about who we thought were the run favourites, or who had the run form, who had the pedigree. As we get a shot back to Yelagines, checking the watch there, checking the heart rate and the pacing, and he's not quite in the frame yet, but yeah, still looking good, looking nice and fluid. And Yella, KB, and Casper have all been at altitude. They've done a specific altitude training block in preparation for this event. Probably a luxury that the women didn't have with a 4-week turnaround post their Ironman World Championships. And not that Yella did race in Nice, but the other two men did. And I just think, these men have had a very specific preparation for this, as we see Schomburg joining the fight now. And, it's great to see Jonas laying down a different style of racing. And he's normally ultra-aggressive swim bike, and maybe hanging on for dear life in the run. It feels like he was able to ride within himself. Ride really smart, manage himself on course, his pacing, his nutrition, and reaping the rewards for that now. He looks super comfortable. So we have a trio at the front, but let's see if Yella can bridge up.
So, Craig, again, a man whose MO was winning on the run. This is something you're very familiar with. Do you like what Jonas did? Do you like that company? Do you have more strength being a group of 3 or kind of solitary?
As we see Yella just make a lightning fast pass on Rico there. Yeah, Yella looks amazing too.
He looks smooth.
Word on the street is he is in scintillating run form and been laying down some amazing sessions in Andorra. So,
you think he's going to plan, or he's trying to bridge up? Because he looks fantastic. He looks super fast, but I almost cannot imagine he can keep that up for the whole race.
You know what? After watching him race in Topor last year, and Hayden Wild gapped him early, he sticks to his plan.
Yeah.
I think he sticks to his plan. Last year we saw Hayden gap him coming into T2, and he just stuck to his own plan and was able to reap the rewards later in the run. So only time will tell, though.
Wonderful. And the true Pro-Am is this race, because the professionals and the amateurs sharing the course together. What you said, of course, some athletes just starting their Zoot Bike course, or just kind of navigating the early stages, while our professionals are here. And I want to tee this up because I have a memory of this. And Craig, you were dreaming about today's scenario. I can still remember very vividly 7 years ago in Port Elizabeth at the Ironman 70.3 World Championship. At that time, it was the best race I had ever seen. And I believe that, with a 106, 107, and a 108 for our finishing run splits, where we saw Jan Frodeno over Alistair Brownlee and Javier Gomez. Such a good race, and you know what? We're beating that here. Let's get right back down to Marinda. Thanks for listening. Rini, take it away.
Hey, so we are on the jetty now, and this is the Yelagines and KB. It looks like KB is content to sit on Yelagines' head, both on his shoulders. So sorry. Both men kind of in Terminator mode now. There's not really much emotion, very relaxed faces. And now we have Jonas Stromberg. This young man is having an incredible race, sitting in third. He looks fantastic. He comes around the corner, makes quicker work of that turn. And then we have Casper Stornes next onto the jetty, and he'll make this right-hand turn here. Casper looks really relaxed, actually. Of the 3 men ahead, he looks the most relaxed and comfortable right now. He's chasing Jonas down, looking great. But again, they're in a tailwind now. They'll come back into the headwind. We'll see who's tucking in and who's sitting up the front, happy to do the work. But yeah, I mean, the race is still wide open. Those podium spots are, who knows? Send it back to you guys. Thanks.
Christian Blumenfeld now edging in front. So coming back to what you just said, Danny, I think that KB is going to make a move. He's gotten in front anyway. Are they positioning themselves for that move?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a move yet. I don't know. We haven't seen him leading much so far, so I don't know. Maybe it's probably downhill and also a tailwind. I don't think he would go in the front in a headwind. But yeah,
I think sorry to cut you off. I think this is more maybe Jelle that's actually playing it smart now. Jelle's been leading for a while, and yeah, I mean it's the smartest move to let now Christian work and look,
they're talking,
looking behind, and I think that both of them are discussing that if they take turns, they can win the race. So it's whether you want to risk Casper coming back or not. Yeah, it'll be really, really interesting now. It's becoming tactical.
Casper is only 50 seconds back, so yeah, they can't really have a coffee here. So
Jasper seems to have run the fastest last split on the tracker there. It says 3:13 against 3:29, 3:22. So yeah, interesting.
It is, and that we've seen today. And Sam, maybe you could talk to us, coming from the perspective of you've been on course plenty of times with KB. Do you ever see him really dialoguing like that or monologue, chatting so much? He's been very vocal all day on the bike, here on the run, lots of chatting.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's Norwegian method. I had Casper showing.
Maybe it's the influence from Taylor Knibb. Maybe she told him just talk a lot and you're going to win.
To be fair, I think Alistair Brownlee was probably the pioneer in shouting in people's ears during races. But yeah, Casper was quite vocal on the bike over in Nice. And yeah, now he's only 39 seconds back, Casper. So that's he can definitely smell them.
I mean, that's what they were talking about. I mean, I think honestly they look back as well. And here's the story: we talked about this early, and who knew if it would come true? But this is the move that he did in Nice. He waited. It different, obviously, distance and story. But we did talk about how he waited. He bided his time. He sat back. He collected, and now he has probably a little extra to charge forward. We've got the seawall coming up, this tailwind headwind section. We've got some very difficult running segments ahead, and we see Casper Stornage on the charge. You can see that he's now got eyes on them. They're rolling into this turnaround, and having eyes is a very powerful spot to be in. The hunter now has his sights on the prey, and he can just kind of really dial in and try and draw in off their energy. But the battle is on with
Christian moving to the front.
100% certainty, exactly. Christian goes to the front, and that is at the close of the headwind section. He now wants to be in the driver's seat as they take that hard right turn, drop down off of the bridge. Stornage checks over the shoulder to make sure.
He yelled at him. What did he say? Did you hear it? Go get it or something like this?
I think you're right. I think he is absolutely rooting his training partner and countryman on. He is screaming, what a show of sportsmanship, and also just
maybe he's just saying
control.
slow down.
Wait, maybe it is.
Is that what you would say?
I don't know. I think right now Casper's just wishing there was another 21K so that he could catch them up.
I think you say anything you can say right at this point. But back to Jonas Stromberg. This has been such an incredible show for the German. I think just a great fall, a great year for him. He's in fourth place, pretty firmly holding that spot, and he's still just running exceptionally. Zero chinks in the armor. He did perhaps ride a little bit more reservedly than we've seen, but it's paying off. He's running fantastically here on the seawall.
Yeah, hopefully we can get eyes back on the front, because
that's
I'm
the
sure
race.
They're throwing the bombs right now.
Throwing the bombs as we kind of roll off the seawall again. You'll notice zero spectators here allowed in this section. It just gets too crowded. And then I say that there's 2 spectators, but very few spectators compared to what we'll see when we get back into the town. And a high overview here of the marina at Puerto Banús, and a beautiful, beautiful shot as you see in the background. Playa de Levante is the finish stretch as well. So everything pretty much takes place in this zone. And here we are back at the front of the race. The Hoka run course almost coming to its conclusion together with the white cap of Christian Blumenfeld from Norway in front. The defending Ironman 70.3 world champ, Jellegien from Belgium, on his shoulder. The race is about as good as it gets here. One more turnaround, the crowd going completely bananas as they watch and hitting those thunder sticks from Hoka, making some noise. And realistically, this is what it's all about.
I have to say, if Jelle defends his title, what a way to defend it. After all the small struggles he's gone through today, I think that would be an amazing reward.
Epic. And we saw last year where at this point Hayden Wild had gone hard and he had tried to make the break on this man. He could not be broken. And we saw in these closing Ks in Topa that Jellegiens had that engine to carry him through the final stretch. But with under 2 kilometers to go, I feel like we are already in the sprint. They're running so unbelievably quick.
Yeah, they've got less than a kilometer now to go.
So thank you. And as we roll under the Precision Fuel and Hydration banner and we step away to have a good look at La Concha in the background here of Marbella, we have to say for just a second, a thanks to everyone who's joined us here today. Thanks to our incredible commentary crew. Please stay with us because not only is a hot conclusion about to present itself for you, but we've got great festivities and we'll hear from these superstars after the race. Casper Storned still looking at the watch, just smooth.
So Casper, has dropped down a little bit time-wise, not in position, but obviously the other two are attacking each other. But what's going to be really important up front now is whoever hits them last 2 90-degree turns first, because it's not a very long finish and shoot after that. So it'll be painful for both of them.
Yeah, there you go. The white building of the hotel, the pool, so you can visualize folks at home along that long stretch. They're going to have the right turn that Sam just mentioned, and then another right turn, a slight bend, and it goes right on home. But you do want to be in position before you hit that stretch. 3 hours, 42 minutes into this race, and you can see closing. Christian Blumenfeld.
They're still there.
Oh my God, they're fighting for that final corner. That's insane.
Shoulder on shoulder.
Jelle's got it. Jelle is pushing.
And right when you saw them from afar, you couldn't tell. Here's right turn number 1. Right turn number
finish.
2.
One more acceleration. Go, go.
And as we come into the finish stretch, it could be anyone's race. Is it the Belgian? Is it the Norwegian? As these two men come through, it appears that Jellegiens has a slight advantage over Christian Blumenfeld. Today, the 2025 Ironman 70.3 world champion is Jellegiens.
Wow.
By seconds in front of Christian Blumenfeld. A fist pump. What a battle. We couldn't have scripted it any better. Congratulatory pat on the back. A defense of the title that we've only seen once before.
What a sprint.
What a sprint finish there. The Belgian comes out on top. Jellegiens for first place. Christian Blumenfeld taking the silver medal as Casper Stornes comes home quickly but with much less drama to take the bronze medal. Third place here today. I can't even believe what I saw. We thought that Christian had broken him on that angle, and the next thing you know, they're shouldering each other. And there it is. The Wahoo Element rival shows that Jellegiens has the male pro champion status and the 107.35 half marathon that goes with it. Stornes is elated. Well, happy. Jellegiens absolutely over the moon.
That was incredible, yeah. Jelle, I mean, we all kind of thought that if it came down to the last few meters, Christian would have him. But yeah, Jelle proved us wrong, and what a way to defend his title. I think that win for him will be almost bigger than his first world title, simply because of the caliber and density of field. And to be able to have a sprint finish like that always kind of stays in your memory as a special moment, I would say.
On behalf of Sam Laidlow, Danielle O'Reef, Craig Alexander, and Marinda Carfrey, I'm Michael Avado, and we love that you joined us today. Until the next time, hasta luego y adios.
This copyrighted broadcast of World Triathlon Corporation may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without express written consent of World Triathlon Corporation.